somehow. You know, I still think it wasn't an earthquake.
John Roberts isn't the only one shaken by events. Out on the hills, Hugh Edwards sees a flying saucer.
I saw this object come in along the mountain with the size of a bus, really. It's white in the middle, on two ends. Came across the mountain towards the road there. As it went over there, it dipped, and I thought it was going to crash. It dipped out of sight into the valley. Well, I'd heard so much about flying saucers, and I thought, well, this is it. And the only sound I heard of it, like a shh, going through the air. I was very surprised to see it, really.
In the village of Llandrithro, the district nurse thinks a plane is down.
I thought there might be an air crash. Maybe as a nurse we could help giving first aid. So I called to my daughters and we got into the car and we made our way up to the mountain. We drove a fair way along the mountain road, and to our left we could see a huge orange ball sitting on the mountain, glowing.
Yeah, we stopped and we started looking what we thought was going to be an aircraft on fire.
Because we'd envisaged sort of, oh God, you know, there might be bodies if it was an aeroplane crash, and we weren't too happy at that prospect, but we were quite surprised to see this big reddish orange ball just sitting there.
There were no flames and it was so uniform. The shape, the round spherical shape of it made us realise we weren't looking at an aircraft. There were no flames jumping, but it was pulsating, this red-orange object that we saw.
And we could see little lights, like fairy lights, coming towards the object in a zigzag pattern, and we assumed at that time possibly there was someone going to see what was what.
With hindsight, we realised, well, a search party couldn't have got there, located it and got there in the time it had taken us to go from the village up to the mountain.
Yeah.
No one could have organised themselves to get to the object that we saw.
No search party went out that night, and nothing is ever found at the scene. One astronomer takes a particular interest. Ron Madison can usually only study meteorites in the sky. Here's a chance to get information at close quarters, both from witnesses and from what he assumes is an impact.
Thinking that that explosion might well have been due to an impacting piece of rock, our first reaction was to try to estimate the energy involved. And it seemed to us to be something that would correspond to an explosion of the size of about 600 tons of TNT.
No local RAF plane is missing. No trace can be found. A weird light phenomenon in the Bala Mountains.
We got letters from as far apart as Penzance and Northern Ireland and Derby, all reporting seeing a bright light, maybe comparable with a half moon in brilliance, moving across the sky at the speed of an aircraft, but with no sound, and trailing smoke, just like you would expect something on fire to be crashing. In the next few days, we were to realise, of course, that the village was not very far from the Bala Fault, which is active and has been moving steadily over thousands of years. And unbeknown to us at the time, originally, there had been on that evening a movement on the fault, and that is incontrovertible evidence. This was a coincidence. There were fireballs in the sky at the same time that there was a triggered movement along the Bala Fault. That may be the only link.
Gulf Breeze, Florida, November 1987. A surprise visit on Remembrance Day. From from a UFO 3 times as big as a house. Just for the memory, builder Ed Walters takes Polaroids of it. For him, it's the first of many such photo opportunities, near abductions and glimpses of aliens. Enough to sell 2 books. The UFO world is littered with hoaxers. Ed is a prime suspect. He won't let us show his pictures or do a critical interview. Gulf Breeze is for the faithful only. Shoreline Park, just across the bay from a naval air station, under civilian flight paths. In this quiet backwater, the sightings become big news locally.
We published the first pictures of the Gulf Breeze sightings back in November of 1987, and I was trying to figure out exactly how to present them, because I tried to run everything that happened locally in Gulf Breeze. When my folks came in, and I said, "You're not going to believe what we're getting ready to run in the paper this week." And I showed them the pictures. And they said, "That's what we saw." It was primarily because of the many other people in Gulf Breeze that witnessed the UFO, both the same night that Ed first got the pictures and many times after that, that the Sentinel continued to carry the story.
I have had 3 other daylight sightings and over 100 sightings at night at Shoreline Park in Gulf Breeze.
I witnessed over 170 sightings. These were red lights, red and white lights, over and around Gulf Breeze, Florida.
I've seen a silver flying dome in the sky that was unidentifiable. Never seen anything like that before, and it was unexplainable.
One explanation which occurs to locals is that some of the sightings are illegal pranks, perhaps by high-spirited ratings from the naval base at Pensacola. Another possibility is that this is an area full of civil and military air traffic. Weird and wonderful craft may be in use. Eyes in the sky. Would most people recognize UAVs? Uninhabited aerial vehicles designed for stealthy reconnaissance and secret observation. Photographs such as these are not difficult to fake if you're an investigative reporter with a little know-how, a styrofoam model, and the right camera.
It was quite easy to reproduce these pictures. He took the majority of his early pictures, about 30 pictures, on a Polaroid 108 camera. It is very easy to double expose the film in that camera. If you don't pull the film out, you can press the button and expose that same piece of film again. You take a picture of the UFO model inside, you go outside, take a picture of the skyline, let the film develop. There you have your double exposure of a UFO flying in the sky.
What does a photo analyst make of Ed's photos? Bruce Maccabee is a government research physicist. He's a believer in UFOs. He's the author of many scientific papers on them. His calculations satisfy him that this is no hoax.
I have analyzed all the films and videos that have been taken by Ed Walters. I have studied Most of the videos, I guess, that have been taken by other people down there.
And it's just sitting there.
As far as Ed's pictures and videos are concerned, it's my opinion that they are real. I've analyzed these very carefully, taking into account all the criticisms that have been leveled against them, and have found reasons to reject the criticisms.
In baseball, you get 3 strikes and you're out. For Ed Walters, in this case, strike 1 was when a model was found in the attic of his former home. Strike 2 was when a young man named Tommy Smith came forward and claimed that he was an eyewitness to Ed Walters creating double-exposed UFO pictures. Strike 3 was when we went out and did photo experiments and were able to replicate many of these photos, especially the difficult photos like the UFO hovering over the road. So my conclusion is 3 strikes and you're out.
In the Florida skies and worldwide, people keep on looking. To be in tune with something outside ourselves. Searching for a sign, for hope, even salvation. It's increasingly reasonable to believe we are not alone in the universe. If signs of life on Mars prove true, then life may be even more widespread. Astronomers calculate the number of civilizations we can expect to detect in space. They use the Drake equation. Professor Drake lists for us